Hi everyone, welcome to Curly Hair Artistry. My name is Scott Musgrave, the founder of Curly Hair Artistry. I'm also founder of today's topic. The video of today is all about Cultivate Your Curls. Cultivate Your Curls is an online course that helps you embrace your hair, possibly for the first time in your life. So a little bit of backstory about Cultivate Your Curls. I have been a hairstylist since 1986. And the first thing that you learn to do in cosmetology school when you go is to be able to take a straight head of hair and make it curly, dark hair make it light, or to take curly hair and make it straight. Taking straight hair and making it curly with a variety of different perming techniques. Over time, taking curly hair and turning it into looser, not frizzy, or straight hair through a variety of processes, chemicals, and treatments. Nobody was teaching you how to embrace your curly hair. So as a hairstylist, when you leave, you try to make everything perfect when you are learning how to be a hairstylist. You try to take and learn straight lines, geometric shapes, and you do that once you leave school. So you take your trade and you start to learn the craft of hairstyling. Usually when you leave school, you go to the salon, you learn their model of how to work with all types of hair. Over time, you usually start specializing in some things. Sometimes people specialize in balayage, highlighting, or specifically just cutting. And one of the things that is never really taught in the salon system is curly hair. Now what's interesting is the model that most salons have for working with curly hair is taking it out of its natural state, wetting it down, pulling on it to take it out of its naturally curly state, putting it into a straight state, cutting a straight line, and then when they style it, they want to straighten it out and it shows how perfect it is. But when you go home and you wear it curly, it falls out of its straight state into its natural state and it looks imperfect and it's unbalanced. So when you call a salon and you ask them, does anyone there know how to work with curly hair? Every salon will say they know how to work with curly hair because it's a fix-it mentality, a fix-it service system where the service experience is taking it out of its natural state and straightening it and making it perfect. And then you go home and wear it imperfect and it makes for a visually imbalanced haircut. You can probably do a better job than most hairstylists do and cut it and make it look visually balanced. So the frustration with the world as a client, when you call and say, do you know how to work with curly hair? And they say yes, you go there and you realize you're in a pickle, you're in a jam. And sometimes you don't want to say anything, so you sit through it. You get the service experience of fixing it. And over time, you say, I am never going to go back to a salon. I've talked to people that went 20 years without going to another salon visit because it's traumatizing. And they end up cutting it themselves, or they force their spouse to learn how to cut it, or you watch some YouTube videos on how to cut hair. So the difference with, like for example, Curly Hair Artistry is that I developed a whole system of cutting hair in its natural state, not taking out of its natural state, not making it perfect, but yet it's visually balanced and visually perfect. And I came up with then from the cutting process of over time, I love taking things and cataloging things and things that I would do that are second nature and that are undefined and putting a label to it and putting it in a list. The list then becomes narrowed down and it becomes a system, and that system I can teach. And that's when I came up with what I call the MAP method. That's the original name for my product application process. So I started sharing about that in blogs. Blogging was big in 2011, 12, and I started writing about those things and sharing a couple photos, and it went crazy. I could see people all over the world with the system that I had with being able to give me analytics. It was being read all over the world. And these people would contact me clients, which I will call consumers, and professional hairstylists, wanting to know what I was doing that was different, because it didn't look like the two dominating systems back in the day, which was Diva, which has a method, a 3-step method, and also Ouidad, O-U-I-D-A-D. Some people don't know how to pronounce it. It's called Ouidad. And both of those dominated with product application, some form of cutting, and then you buy their products to reinforce all of that put together. So what was missing over time, I realized, was with people asking me to share these thoughts and ideas in my system of working with cutting and product application, I formed what is known as Curly Hair Artistry. And Curly Hair Artistry was creating interest because it was different looking than Diva or Ouidad. And so I started sharing that through symposiums and teachings, and I've been doing that for over a decade now. That would be 10 years, so into 11 years. And at the time of this video, and still going strong, because a lot of times people want something different than what's being taught. It's an intuitive, artistic approach that is different from a trade and craft-based system. Artistic and intuitive is a little bit harder to teach. Not everybody can teach it, but I'm very comfortable in teaching it. So when clients around the world were saying, well, I can't sit in your chair, I cannot be a client, would you send me a video? Well, I figured I would make a course, and so I created what I call Cultivate Your Curls. The main reason I created that is because my system is working, it was helping people. The cool thing is it's non-brand based. You can use any product. So that's different from these brand-based approaches. I don't rely on or depend on a brand to tell me what to do, to influence me. And what is happening in the circles back in the day, and it's still going on to this day, is an overwhelming amount of information. It's so confusing. You have beautiful people holding product bottles that the manufacturer sends. They may even get paid for it. And then all of a sudden, because they have beautiful hair, everyone wants to buy it, and the product manufacturer makes a lot of money, and the person influencing you to buy that product makes money or just gets to keep the bottle. Well, that's not happening in my circle. If you go on social media groups, you have a lot of people saying, do this, don't do this. They're even harassing you over what you should and should not do. And if you get caught up in the loop, in the cycle of depending on that information, you can end up with a closet filled with products that just don't work, depleting your bank account pretty much with how much money you can spend on stuff that you're never using again. You don't even know what to do with it. And the information that you try this, it just was not working, and it's overwhelming and it's confusing. And it starts beating you up internally because you almost wonder, is there something wrong with me? Why is nobody helping me? I call these places and they say they all know how to work with curly hair and they don't. Who can I trust anymore? Well, that's where I come in. The Curly Hair Artistry has on curlyhairartistry.com, it has a stylist locator with people all over the world that have taken these trainings, and they have an understanding of how to help you embrace your hair instead of no longer trying to fix it. When you embrace what you're born with and it looks beautiful, you can walk around with much more confidence. I've seen dignity shifts in people. I've seen confidence level, the person's esteem change over one-time application process. And what I've learned with cultivating your curls and the MAP method, the MAP method stands for Magic Curl Application Process. Because a lot of my clients would finish up a session with me and they would say it's magical. So I just turned that to Magic Curl. And then it's an application process that you learn to do by yourself. I don't do your hair. I would have you do your hair by yourself so that you could learn to know what it feels like and sounds like. You get an intuitive second nature and muscle memory approach to how to work with your hair. And it works with any product that you have. Now, over time, you want to change and prioritize what products you should have. You should have better ingredients. So I do have circles of products that I do recommend. So if you say, well, which product should I start with? I have a circle of products that you can start with that pretty much all of them work and are good. And over time, you'll know what works better for you. You'll know which products to get instead of relying on social media telling you. You'll know which products to purchase instead of guessing which products to purchase. So the Magic Curl application process turned to the MAP method, and that shortens up a mouthful. And I also call it an online course called Cultivate Your Curls, because you need to learn to cultivate your hair. And over time that you learn to embrace your hair. And over time I've received so many messages over the years of teaching this and people getting the course that they send me letters that the dignity shift, the confidence they just feel better about themselves. They feel like wanting to take care of themselves again. They want to trust people again. And I do have a circle of people in a Facebook group that those people get together and we process the Cultivate Your Curls. We process the MAP method. We know we recommend products because somebody in Egypt is different than somebody in Toronto, that somebody different in Mexico City don't have access to all these products that we have in the United States. So there are people recommending a variety of different products. There used to be a handful of products back in the day. Now it's overwhelming. You can go into stores and it's just aisles now of a curly hair section that used to be like this and back in the day, but now it's aisles of curly hair products and it's overwhelming. So the Cultivate Your Curls is a place that you come to for confidence, you come to for clarity, and you practice for 30 days how to do your hair, because a lot of people do their hair only once or twice a week. That's like 4 or 5, 8 times in a month. And by the end of that month, I guarantee you'll know how to work with your hair that you never have before. You'll see a drastic result and change in knowing how to embrace your hair. And then all of a sudden, I really recommend a lot of things like move on to more important things instead of social media or Instagram influencers. Put the social media down and start living life now with your beautiful hair. Don't be afraid to get your picture taken because your hair is beautiful. Don't be afraid to wear your hair curly at a wedding or a prom or a special event. Don't be afraid of redoing your straight hair profile picture on social media to now your naturally curly one. And then when you go on stylist locator of curlyhairartistry.com, there's stylists that you can call up and know for a fact that they know how to work with curly hair. So some stylists take my training, which is cubist cutting and curly hair artistry method. They will start blending it in with different methods that are now being taught that weren't taught before. So there's Diva, there's Weed Dad, and then there was curly hair artistry. That was a third system that was a little bit different than the two, and it took you from a methodical, robotic way of cutting hair that you can do on everyone that wasn't working to an intuitive, artistic way. So there's information, if you're a hairstylist, down below about Cultivate Your Curls, which is a lot of time for consumers, but if you're a stylist with curly hair, it teaches you how to embrace it, and then you can transfer that knowledge to your clients. It's very helpful. And also, Curly Hair Artistry Mastery Program, which is called CHAMP for short. The CHAMP is a non-stop, strict-based advanced education for hairstylists on how to cut curly hair, how to work with product application, business application, and I've seen people double, triple, quadruple their income when you learn to specialize in curly hair. So that information is down below. The information for Cultivate Your Curls is also down below. If you do not have Facebook, you don't need to be in our Facebook community. There's a question under each, there's an area where you can ask questions, so you have direct contact with me. And so that is one of the best things you do. Most people ask a few questions if something needs clarification. I've even been able to do FaceTimes with people or Zoom sessions that for 15 minutes to clarify something. Or if you want to show me your before and after pictures and tell me how things have changed over time, then feel free to do that as well. If you have any questions or comments down below, please feel free to do that. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.